if you're an SUV fan like me, you'd be pleased to hear that Land Rover's bringing back the Freelander. Except it's not actually a Land Rover anymore. It's being built in China by Chery. Now, before you get all angry, I think this could actually be a good thing. The Freelander was never supposed to be a posh Range Rover. It was the attainable Land Rover. The original arrived in 1997 and became Europe's best-selling 4x4.
The new Land Rover Freelander.
It even introduced hill descent control. You know, the thing that sort of automatically brakes for you when you're going down a slippery slope? And now the name is back, but this time as its own brand. This is the Freelander 8, and despite the name, it's huge, over 5.1 meters long huge. That is longer than a Defender 110. It's got 6 seats, air suspension, all-terrain response, locking differentials, and the ability to tow 2 tons. That's heavy. This isn't some sort of Evoque replacement, don't worry. But inside, things get very Chinese. Very quickly. There's a 46.3-inch 8K screen stretching 1.2 meters across the dashboard. It's a little bit like BMW's latest attempt at the iDrive system, which, by the way, never needed replacing. And if that's not enough pixelage for you, there's another 15.6-inch touchscreen for all your other controls. Yes, including heating. I know. Middle row seats are heated, cooled, massaging, and there's even a zero-gravity mode, which basically means they recline, but it sounds cooler. So what we're working with here is basically a Defender on the outside and business Emirates class on the inside. The first version uses a huge 60 kilowatt-hour battery with a petrol engine acting as a range extender. There's a lot of BMW similarities here. It reminds me of the BMW i3 with the petrol range extender. Great car, by the way. It'll run an 800-volt architecture and can accept up to 350 kilowatts charging. And in China, they're claiming more than 130 miles of electric driving range before the engine needs to help. Now, here's the bit I find interesting. Chery haven't just come along and said, ooh, British car, we'll have that and stick our badge on it. In fact, JLR have been very much involved. The man leading the design is Phil Simond, who previously worked on the L322 Range Rover, fantastic car, the Evoque and the Velar. So there's definitely Land Rover DNA in there. But the electrical architecture and technology comes from Chery. And we've seen with JQ, owned by Chery, how aggressively they can price their cars. UK prices for the Freelander haven't been announced yet, but we know it's going to be positioned below the Defender. And if they bring it to the UK and price it anywhere near a sort of mid-spec German SUV, I think they could be onto something. Because personally, I'd much rather that JLR experiment with the Freelander name, rather than starting to build a Chinese Range Rover. Freelander was always meant to be the accessible one. Maybe it just took China to remind them.